Hey, Ryu, have you ever heard of Yobai? It sounds a little spooky, but what kind of custom was it?
Oh, great question, Sora. Yobai was actually a pretty common practice in old Japan. Today, I'll tell you all about its history, and some lesser-known stories behind it.
So, what exactly is Yobai?
Simply put, Yobai was a tradition where men would visit women's homes at night before marriage. It was also called Suma Tori Kan, or visiting the wife, and it was a normal practice back in the day in Japan.
Wait, that was normal?
Yep, Sora. Back then, the idea of one man, one woman marriages wasn't really established. So Yobai was kind of like a way of proposing. However, over time, it came to include the meaning of visiting someone's sleeping place at night. For, well, less romantic reasons.
Ah, that explains why Yobai has a creepy vibe now. But why is it called night crawling?
Good question. That's actually tied to an ancient belief called Kodadama, which is the idea that words have spiritual power. By calling someone's name, they believed you could summon their soul. So, the term crawling at night was tied to that belief.
I see, so even Yobai had a deeper meaning behind it. When did Yobai start happening?
The history of Yobai goes way back. It's even mentioned in the Manyoshu, a collection of Japanese poetry compiled in 759. It continued from the Edo period to the Meiji era, especially in rural farming and fishing villages.
That long ago, so everyone just casually did it?
Yeah, it was pretty common, often tied to village festivals and events. Even though the Tokugawa shogunate issued laws banning Yobai during the Edo period, it kept happening in many places.
People kept doing it even though it was banned? That's pretty bold.
Yep, but by the Meiji era, with electricity spreading and monogamy being promoted, Yobai gradually faded away. That's how it eventually disappeared.
But did Yobai happen the same way everywhere?
Not really. It varied by region. In most cases, men visited women. But in some places, women would visit men's homes instead.
That's interesting. So, the rules were different depending on the region?
Exactly. Each village had its own customs. Like how they treated unmarried women or married women. There were all sorts of rules, which makes it pretty fascinating.
Can you share some specific stories about Yobai?
Oh, sure thing. Let's get into it. The Okayama example, in Okayama Prefecture, Yobai was practiced all the way into the 1970s. Young men would visit the homes of unmarried women at night, looking for marriage partners. It was like a nighttime dating party.
Yobai lasted that long. That's shocking.
Kyushu's Bureiko. In northern Kyushu, on New Year's night, men and women would gather in the village for a Bureiko event, where everyone could be a bit more relaxed with each other. It was part of a festival and helped strengthen the village's unity.
That's what happened on New Year's night. Having the whole village involved seems pretty bold.
Yeah, but it shows how strong their sense of community was back then. Tsuyama incident and Yobai. In 1938, the Tsuyama incident happened, and Yobai was one of the factors that played into it. It involved the breakdown of relationships in a village, and a person who was isolated ended up taking revenge. This gave Yobai a negative image.
So, there was all that behind the incident. Village life definitely had its complicated sides. For more details about the Tsuyama incident, check the video link in the description. But be warned, it's a bit of a scary story. But Yobai wasn't just about courtship, right? Didn't it also help strengthen the village's sense of unity?
That's right. Yobai wasn't just a way for men and women to communicate, but it also played a cultural role in strengthening the village's overall bond. It's hard to understand from today's perspective, but it was an important custom back then.
It's amazing how different values and customs were in ancient Japan. Today we learned about the old Japanese custom of Yobai. And it was full of surprises.
Right? It's a custom that disappeared over time. But it's still a fascinating topic that shows how society and culture used to work.
If today's video piqued your interest, definitely check out more about Japan's old customs.
Alright, see you in the next video.
See you next time. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up.